Sports with John Hook and Carrie Lake in HD.
It's a really inspiring story. A Valley singer who suffered a stroke is making a comeback, and she's doing it on stage.
Although Charlie Sharp faces many challenges, she is not letting anything stop her from sharing her gift. Marcy Jones live with her remarkable story. Marcy.
That's right, guys. I was able to catch Charlie right before she went on stage tonight. And while music motivates her, she hopes to inspire others to never give up on yourself or your dreams.
Music is my life. It always has been. I don't.
That's why they're both
college bowl games. You gotta love them, even if you're not a football fan.
Getting as much action as we've been led to believe. Actually, new research shows they're avoiding sexual activity. The study finds that millennials born in the 1990s are more than twice as likely to be sexually inactive in their early 20s than the previous generation, the Generation X group. Some experts say it's proof that young people are having trouble forming deep, romantic, and intimate relationships, and they're blaming technology. Does this even surprise you at all?
No, not the technology part, that's the reason. It is odd. I mean, you would just think in those years, you know, there's a lot of activity, you would think, but it's not happening, and that is really surprising.
Just based on your own experience, I mean. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a time. It's really unfortunate, too, that we're so hooked into this, you know, our smartphones or whatever, that we're not hooking up. We're not even looking at people. I find myself doing that. I'm not even looking at people sometimes. We're not having that kind of, like...
I know. I lose you sometimes in the commercial break.
I want to start staring into your eyes at least for 30 seconds before each show.
There you go.
Just
Barbra Streisand, Carrie, has a new tour. And based on the first show in L.A., this is not your typical Streisand concert. Aside from singing her big hits, she brought on a magician, a mentalist, and even started talking about science.
What's a mentalist?
But then scattered throughout the show were a number of really serious barbs at Donald Trump.
Oh, gosh.
I got to tell you, you know, when I go to see a concert...
When you go to see Barbra Streisand?
I don't go. I'm not paying for a lecture. I'm really not.
I know.
It's like sing the hits and leave it out in the parking lot.
Especially Barbra Streisand. I mean, she charges a fortune, an arm and a leg and another arm for a concert. You want to hear her voice. You don't want to hear her talking about her political beliefs. Whether you agree with them or not, I don't care if somebody is right on where I think. I don't want to hear it when I'm paying for a concert.
I agree with that.
I would ask for my money back, actually, on that one.
Wow. Okay.
I bet you'd get it, too.
You're tough.
Finally, tonight, I love baseball, my favorite sport. Umpires tossing up players and managers. It's not that, you know, uncommon in baseball. But what about when they go after a fan? In Philly, the ump tossed out a rude, drunk, heckling fan. He gave him, there were warnings initially. And
where was security?
Well, they'd given the guy some warnings, and it just got worse and worse, so they tossed him out. And they kind of gave him the option to move out. I kind of agree with this ump, John, because everyone in that area paid for their tickets, and they shouldn't have it ruined.
Well, as long as they don't have the guy on the field actually kicking up the chalk, you know, around home plate, or kicking up the chalk on the first base line, as long as he's not allowed to be part of the game, even though he was in a way.
But how would you feel if you've had like 1 or 2 beers too many and you got kicked out and embarrassed?
Embarrassed.
Would you go willingly?
.77% since 2005.
Knowing that I can handle a gun and protect myself if the situation should hopefully never arise, but if it should, I can take care of myself.
The class will be held monthly at the Scottsdale Gun Club. I'm Jeff Van Sant, 3 TV.
So, by the way, if you're interested in this course, Conceal and Curves, next class will be held over at the Scottsdale Gun Club tomorrow night from 5:30 to 7:30.
And the cost is $50 for non-members.
A story that's happening right now, the search for a serial killer intensified tonight. This new poster from Phoenix police shows a sketch of the man and the car they're out there looking for after linking a 9th shooting to his crime spree. And a story that is new tonight, the price on that killer's head has nearly doubled.
Police and the FBI are now offering a $50,000 reward for information that leads to his arrest and conviction. And coming up in less than 5 minutes, we're going to take you to the scene of that latest shooting. Meantime, a 1-2 punch from the monsoon. A second day of storms brought heavy rain and more flooding to the valley. This was the view from our Penguin Air and Plumbing news chopper as Mesa got drenched this afternoon. But compared to last night's bang, this was more of a whimper, but it still managed to do some damage.
And we have new video to show you of the damage tonight. We begin in Chandler, where you're going to see a truck getting stuck out there in the middle of the road in the mud tonight. This video all new at 10 o'clock tonight. Our news chopper spotting the scene near Gilbert Road and Hunt Highway. It is not clear why a garbage truck was in the middle of a muddy field. But let me tell you this, that truck's going to be there for a while. As you can see, the mud halfway up on the wheels.
And in Phoenix, the storm opened up a sinkhole in the middle of a street. Drivers had to avoid this one near 15th Avenue in Thomas. Now, this one looks small, but it is deeper, we are told, and it is wide, and it could do a lot of damage to your car if you hit it. So heads up if you're traveling in that area.
But the worst damage tonight is in Casa Grande. That is where the storm snapped power poles in half, ripped part of the
on this developing story. Also breaking right now, Central Avenue closed north of Camelback after police.
Cortenson and Treckle Roads, this area is really the area that took the brunt of this microburst, this really powerful storm. If we pan over this way,
We're shocked, we're devastated, and we mourn alongside his family and fellow pilots for the loss that was experienced.
Thu knew him personally and says he was an incredible.
For the northern half of our state, a flash flood watch is
led from a blood drive in Flagstaff to Falcon Field Airport, ultimately for the United Blood Services processing lab.
His missions touch so many lives, and you have to think about those patients who received the blood and the families and all those people who are alive today because of Mac's generosity.
Each year, they fly more than 2,000 missions for United Blood Services.
They volunteer their planes, their time, their fuel. All of it is just done out of the generosity of their hearts because Flights for Life members want to contribute something with their love of flying.
Now to another 12 News exclusive. An Avondale man accused of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl who had just been hired to work with him at Walmart. 34-year-old Cypress Paul Bone is behind bars tonight. Monique Riego, she is the only reporter in the Valley that was able to talk to his roommate. Right, Monique?
Yeah, he talked with us just a couple of hours ago. Now, according to court documents, the victim was afraid of losing her job. Now, tonight, the suspect's roommate told us he was shocked by the allegations, especially because people were in the home when this alleged attack took place.
34-year-old Cyrus Paul Bone is accused of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl who was a fellow employee at this Walmart off Estrella Parkway and I-10 in Goodyear. Tonight, 12 News speaking with a man who'd recently rented a room to the suspect.
I put an ad on Craigslist and rented the room to him.